Well, this is fun. Yes, I can enjoy this. Let's make a game of it. All of those things are options instead of saying, well, this sucks. I hate this. Ugh, we have to do that again. Your words are powerful. A challenge can quickly become an adventure if you allow it to. And today I'm talking with Jo Caruana from the Finesse Group. And she is just one big adventure. She is going to talk about the adventures that she's had and how she views complaining as an energy drain and how you can shift your perspective to enjoy your own adventure. All right. If you are trying to figure out how you can start seeing things a little differently, beat that burnout monster, and keep enjoying your journey, well, then, my friend, this episode is it's totally for you. All right, let's get into it.
Welcome to the Flourishing Entrepreneur Podcast with Alea Harris. This is the place where you and your fellow empire-building entrepreneurs come to vanquish the burnout monster and boost your glow and cash flow with energy alignment techniques and tried and true marketing strategies. Since seven figures won't get itself, hit that subscribe button and never miss out on your chance to skyrocket profits, tap into your intuition, and manifest your dreams. And now, your host, Powerhouse StoryBrand Certified Guide, award-winning marketer, bioenergetic business coach, and Japanese whiskey lover, Alea Harris.
What does it mean to you to go on an adventure? It means that excitement is happening. It means that you probably are going to be having some thrills and ups and downs and arounds, but an adventure sounds like something that you want to do. It sounds like something that there'll be giggles involved, maybe. And yes, there'll be hard times, but you kind of know in the end that everything will be okay. Do you look at your life as an adventure? Or do you look at your life as something that you really can barely make it through? Well, I encourage you to look at things as an adventure, even when they don't seem or feel like it. You lost your job? Gosh, what an adventure I have the opportunity to embark upon. You are getting a divorce? Well, what an adventure I get to be able to explore myself as a single person now. Everything can be an adventure, and I've looked at it like that often. It's not always immediate, but I do look at it like that. I mean, when I was laid off because of a restructuring of my corporate gig, I began the adventure of owning Flourish Marketing. And oh my God, it's been an adventure and it's been a wonderful ride. But if I had looked at that experience as, oh my gosh, this is horrible, this sucks, I wouldn't have even been in the brain space to get into an entrepreneurial role. I would have just kind of been applying on monster.com or indeed.com forever because I would not have been able to get in touch with who I was and what I wanted to do for my next step. Choosing to view life as an adventure allows you to see possibilities, allows you not to get stuck as the victim. It allows you to move forward in your hero's journey rather than getting stuck refusing the call. And I don't know if you've ever noticed this, but the more life is calling you into action and you refuse that call, the more they call you more. It just gets louder and louder and louder until you cannot refuse it any longer. So instead of doing that, just choose to go on the adventure. My mantra for you today, especially if you're in a challenging time, is I love this adventure. I love this adventure. Say it with me, with gusto. I love this adventure. I love this adventure. When you can love the adventure, all of a sudden you find the joy, you find the fun, you find the hope. You're no longer depressed or anxious. You're choosing to see the possibilities at the end of the trial. And my friend, that is what this journey is all about, possibilities. And today I'm talking with a really good adventurer, Jo Caruana, the founder and CEO of the Finesse Group. And the group's various arms work together to finesse every aspect of the client journey, from PR, content, marketing and communications to customer care training and business etiquette. Jo is also part of my crew, my clique, my squad. She's a StoryBrand certified guide. She's also a writer, an editor, an actress, and a presenter. She's pretty dope. And I cannot wait for you to hear the conversation that I have with Jo, all about adventures and enjoying the adventure that you're on. All right, let's get into it.
This episode is brought to you by Copywriting by Flourish Marketing. Do you experience peaks and valleys in your revenue? That's a stressful way to build a business, and it makes scaling impossible. One day, you're buying a new Louis bag, and the next, you're rubbing together your coins to dive into the racks at Ross. You don't have to struggle with financial feast and famine. A strong email marketing funnel provides you with a captive audience that's eager to buy your products and services. At Flourish Marketing, we use the StoryBrand SB7 framework to create lead-generating PDFs, quizzes, ad copy, email sales sequences, website wireframes, and weekly content to attract, convert, and close more clients. If you're ready to start generating more revenue on autopilot, visit www.flourishmarketing.co and schedule a call today. A strong email list means that you'll have more headspace to focus on your zone of genius instead of stressing about bills and making payroll. Jump on the No Stress Express at www.flourishmarketing.co.
Hey, Jo, thank you so much for joining us here today on the Flourishing Entrepreneur podcast. It's a pleasure to have you.
My goodness, it's so exciting to be here, Alea. I can't tell you. I love what you've done with this podcast. It's so exciting to share this time with you. Thank you for having me.
Of course. And before we dive into some of our very hard-hitting questions, not so much, but our questions, why don't you tell the people what you do and what problem you solve?
Oh, brilliant. Well, I run the Finesse Group, which is a set of 5 micro enterprises that bring together a number of different services that basically help our clients to curate their experience for their clients. So that's everything from messaging to communications to PR to marketing and business etiquette and customer care training, as well as a big part of what we do. So we take an outside eye at looking at people's businesses. It can be really hard to get a fresh look at your business. You can get really in the weeds with your business and just lose sight of why it is that your customers are with you and what they're looking for. And then we take that outside eye and we help to improve processes, communication, training, all of the fun stuff. And we love it.
That is amazing. I've never heard of, did you call it micro enterprises? Is that the word that you
Yeah.
used? That is
Yeah.
pretty nifty. How did you, is that, I haven't heard of that, but doesn't mean that's not a thing. Did you come up with that, or is that something that is just not known to me?
That's such a good question. I don't know. I don't think I came up with it. I will not take credit for coming up with micro enterprises. But I just remember when we were coming up with the group concept, which is 5 very small businesses that all do something slightly different related to the same overall topic, it just fit. So
Yeah.
if you want to give me credit for that, I'll take it.
I'm officially here on the Flourishing Entrepreneur podcast. I, Alea Harris, am giving you, Jo Caruana, credit for the words micro enterprises. Done.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So let's dive in, because you have a fascinating journey, but I know that journeys have lots of ups and downs. So why don't you talk about first techniques or tools that you have used on your journey to avoid burnout and stay in alignment personally and professionally?
Well, that is such a great question, isn't it? Burnout is something that we come up against again and again. So as an employer, as somebody that leads a team, I know how important it is to constantly work with my team on burnout. And then as a sort of business leader, as an entrepreneur, you sometimes forget yourself as well. And you forget that you're facing the same struggles and you do burn out. And I would say that in my business so far, I have probably burnt out 3 times. That's full, proper burnout when you just cannot continue.
I love that. Full, proper burnout.
Done. I was done. So I guess when it comes to techniques, I think now I know the signs. I know when I am approaching a burnout. I can also see it in my team when they are approaching a burnout. It's very clear, people start shutting down. They just start getting panicky in situations where normally they would just be able to rise above it. I think for me, knowing those signs is very helpful. And it's when I start to just automatically take a step back. Whereas before I would push through, now I make sure to book time and sort of, if I even just say to my team, I won't be in on Friday. I won't, I'm not going to be communicating. And I think that works. I think sometimes even taking 1 or 2 days away from sort of the madness of the communication that we have to live through now as sort of modern, modern entrepreneurs, employees, etc. Just taking that 1 day, 2 day step away is great. And that lines up very much with technology breaks. So making sure that I have 2 or 3 days in a week when I'm not looking at social media, when I'm not looking at Slack, when I'm really trying not to reply to emails. And I think we've gotten very good as well at setting expectations with our clients as well. So we really communicate as clearly as we can about what they can expect from us, what's realistic on our end. And I think learning to set expectations is another critical technique, because otherwise we just feel like people are expecting stuff from us all the time. Whereas if we just simply communicate, absolutely happy to take that on, I'll be able to deliver it in 2 weeks' time. That's fine. Most people will say, yes, no problem. 2 weeks is great. Whereas I think if that is left unsaid, and you just feel like everybody wants everything instantly, then it can get very quickly, it can turn to burnout. And I think for me, I live a very busy lifestyle. We move a lot, we travel a lot, which is very exciting, but it can really be exhausting to constantly live out of a suitcase, which we do a lot. So I think it's again, making time to just really be still and sort of be in nature. And I think that's one of the reasons why I'm spending a lot of time in the UK at the moment, because the nature is just gorgeous over here where we are, is really beautiful. But just making sure that time is scheduled in the same way as a meeting is. It's got to be in the diary. I always find that if it's in the diary, it's going to happen. So yeah, making sure that you really are scheduling that time. And I also have a buddy. I have a burnout buddy, somebody that as soon as I feel those, those feelings rising, they're there and I'm there for them. And it's a case of, okay, I got a red flag today. And yeah, Burnout Buddy helps me to sort of talk it through and take those things that feel like they're up in my head and I can't sort of overcome them. And again, like with everything, just like what we were saying about sort of getting an outside eye on your business, an outside eye on your problems, an outside eye on your to-do list, suddenly just makes it that much clearer, that much easier. So yeah, Burnout Buddy probably would be the last.
I love that. I have never heard of a burnout buddy before. Let's dive into this for just a quick second. So you start to feel the burnout, and it's like almost like an accountability partner, but it helps you kind of get that outside perspective to your life. Is it like, do they know they're your burnout buddy? Like,
oh yeah,
okay.
yeah, no, they totally know. I don't just bring them in a panic. That would be mean. No, they know, and we are each other's burnout buddy, and it's just a case of, my friend, my burnout buddy, she will help me say, right, okay, what do you have to do this week? Now, what do you really have to do this week? Those expectations that you've put onto yourself, which ones can we take off? And it's just that feeling of having somebody else look at it, somebody else work through it with you systematically, somebody who's not as emotionally attached to it as you are, who's not seeing the panic. And generally, there's 4 or 5 things that you can take off your list really quickly. And they're going to give you that outside perspective, which means you can set yourself free. So I love doing that with my team. I love saying to my team, we don't need to do that today. That's not a must be done today task. So just stop stressing about it. And yeah, having that person for me is really helpful too.
I think that is awesome. Now I'm thinking in my mind, I'm like, who am I going to ask to be my burnout buddy?
You ring me, Alea. You tell, I'll help you.
Okay.
I have a framework.
I can totally call you, Joe. I'm like, ooh, burnout buddy. That sounds just lovely. So you, as we've talked about, have a bunch of micro enterprises, which means that you have a bunch of areas of expertise. But what are 3 pro tips from those areas that you can use and give to our empire builders to help them scale their businesses and enjoy their entrepreneurial journey?
Sure. So let's start with getting an outside eye on your business, right? So whether you are starting out, whether you are midway, whether you are scaling, whatever stage you're at in your business, get that outside eye. Get it from a friend, get it from a trusted person, get it from somebody you don't even know that well. It doesn't matter. Just have somebody, like I love that word you used there, Alea, that accountability person, somebody that's not going to tell you what you want to hear, somebody that's going to help you to see things differently. And to me, we love doing that. We love doing that for our clients. And so often there are things that we call them up on, do you realize you're doing this that way? Do you realize that perhaps there's a gap here? Do you realize that what you envisaged for your clients is not necessarily going the way that you think it is? And so often it's really refreshing for people to hear an honest opinion. So I think if you can find that person in your life, somebody that's going to be really honest with you, go through the experience with you. So we do a lot of mystery shopping. Mystery shopping being that we go into people's businesses, they don't know that we are there, and it's a bit like Undercover Boss. I love that show. And we just, we take a critical look at their business, and the insight you get is really phenomenal. So I think if you can mystery shop your business, that's one really good thing for you to do. And you can do it from anything from your communications on email to the way you answer the phone to your clients, to the way your team are handling your clients. It's across your business. Just getting that outside eye.
Yeah, that was, can we dive into, because a lot of our folks here, there's
Sure.
just like you, they are digital. So how do you mystery shop digitally?
You mystery shop digitally. So if you
How do you do this? Well, you just do it.
you do it. So if you run a fully digital business, your clients still have an experience. They experience your website. They experience your customer journey through your website. They experience your payment portal. They experience communicating with you or your team on email. Email is such an underrated opportunity. So as somebody who loves business etiquette, somebody who's trained in business etiquette, the way you communicate just in those few quick lines can make a massive difference to how that relationship is built, how good you make people feel. So here at Finesse, we write fluffy emails. It's something that as a team, we take pride in. I'm sure it drives some of my team more nuts than I care to admit. But we write fluffy emails. We want our clients to when they leave a communication with us, whether it's on the phone, whether it's on email, they feel good about that communication. It hasn't made their life more stressful. It hasn't made them think, gosh, I hate dealing with these people. These people make my life harder. So it's the little things that make a difference in written communication, on phone conversation, on digital experiences. So that is what's really exciting to us. And I think if you can learn to curate that experience for your customers and acknowledge that they are coming to you for an experience, then that's, one quite good bonus to get right.
Yeah, I love that. And so would you say that, because I don't think I would be able to mystery shop myself, because I just have the curse of knowledge, right? Even if I signed up as a client and tried to go through the process, I'd be like just side slacking my team, like, okay, that wasn't right, or do this or that. Like, I wouldn't be able to truly get that experience. So are you saying that business owners should have somebody else that they trust, whether it's your company or whomever, come in and act that way for them?
We highly recommend it. So, I mean, some customers don't have the budget to do that. So if you do feel you can take a step back and you can be really honest about your experience, to be honest, we see that with our clients, it goes one of two ways. Either they're harsher than they need to be on
Mm.
their client experience, or they make acceptances for the mistakes that are made. So, oh, well, Jane was a little bit rude on the phone today because she's having a really bad day. She broke up with her boyfriend. So you've got too much knowledge, as you said there, the curse of knowledge. You know too much about your business. You know the reasons it's working. You know the reasons it's not working. So yeah, the idea is to get somebody with an outside eye, somebody, find that friend who's a little bit critical, who's really honest with you. The same friend you'd go to if you were looking for feedback on a new person you were dating, or,
Or it
you
could
wanted
even
to
be
know
your
which.
burnout buddy.
It could be your burnout buddy. They're so useful in so many
So
different
many
ways.
ways. These burnout buddies are getting a full job description at this point in time.
Exactly. That person who you always trust to tell you which restaurant to go to or which film to watch, somebody that you know has got a bit of a critical eye, and they're aware of what's going on, and they're interested in your business, and just get them to sort of go through the experience, take a couple of hours and experience it as a client would. And the stuff you will learn is really insightful. You will not believe the opinions other people have about your business.
Wow. I mean, obviously, the tippy top choice is to hire Joe. Then, if you can't hire Joe, give your burnout buddy another job
Another job.
another job and have them go through it. But I do really love all of those tips. And your business, you've grown from, obviously, like everybody else, from nothing into something, into, mini enterprises. And along the way, I'm sure there were like ups and downs and rounds, and you turn around, you're like, what have I done? Let's backtrack. Let's go back down this journey, right? In all of that, especially living out of a suitcase and traveling all around, how have you been able to celebrate, protect, and manage your energy when you're doing all the things? 5 mini enterprises is no small feat.
It's no small feat. Yeah, it's no small feat. That's really kind of you to say. I guess I am just constantly, uh, I'm constantly blown away by the fact that people trust me with their business, that people trust me. They want my opinion, that they come to us again and again. That never fails to blow me away. Like, you've chosen me. These people have actually, from a sea of marketers and communicators and mystery shopping companies, and they have chosen to come to us. Like, I never for a second am not grateful for that. I'm constantly saying to our team, I'm constantly reminding myself, I chose this. Nobody chose this for me. Yes, there are challenges. Yes, there are days when it's hard. But at the end of the day, I made this choice to go into this business. And yes, sometimes you wonder how it got so mental. And sometimes you wonder how it spiraled. And again, there are many occasions when we think, how did we end up here? Who's this client that we're dealing with? That's incredible, but that's crazy. But that's, we all have those moments where you stop and you think, what choice led me to this? But at the end of the day, it was a choice. And I know that at any point I could stop. At any point I could choose to go into employment. I could choose to go into employment that wouldn't require so much from me. I could do something totally different. It's just going to come down to a choice. None of this is forced upon me. I'm incredibly lucky that these are all my choices. So I think by
I love
reminding,
remembering that, for sure.
yeah,
Super.
so by reminding myself that, then it really takes the pressure off. And I just tell myself, if you want something to change, then change it. You've changed loads of other things, just change it. But at the end of the day, I always come back to loving 99% of this crazy business existence.
And I think that it takes a certain personality, right? So it takes a certain personality to have that mental shift where you can say, I love this. But when people hear, let me clarify, when people hear me say that, the very first thing a lot of people will think is, well, that's not my personality. Personality is a choice of an emotional setup that you have given yourself. And you can choose to embrace the fact that you have created everything that's around you. You have created it, promoted it, or allowed it to happen in your life. So when you're saying, oh, I've chosen this, it's all exhilarating and exciting. And there's someone who's saying, well, I've chosen this and this and this, and I hate it all. One, that's a perspective. And two, then that's the type of emotional setup and personality you're crafting for yourself. So make the choice to craft
Make the
something
choice.
differently.
Yeah, I have a bit of a policy, which is that I don't complain about something. I try not to. I mean, I complain about lots of things, but I try not to complain about something unless I'm actively going to do something to change it, because it's just a drain of energy, right? If I am going to take the time to hate and complain something, then I better be willing to put in whatever needs to be done to make that change. If not, stop complaining about it, because you're clearly choosing it, or for whatever reason, it's bigger than a choice that you can make right now, and you just have to stick through it and you just have to get on with it.
And that reminds me about we were talking about burnout, about your burnout buddy helping you prioritize what was in your control now and what's not in your control, and what's not in your control, that's not the top priority. And I love when you're saying if you complain about it, you can't do anything about it. Really what you're doing is just getting on the burnout bus and in the driver's seat and running it right into a brick wall.
Yep.
You are
You
like,
have a burnout bus.
yes.
Your burnout buddy can join you on the
On the
burnout.
burnout
Oh,
bus
wow.
and help you drive the bus away from burnout. This burnout buddy, man, is getting more and more critical the more we talk about it.
They're one of my most important people.
See, there you go. Absolutely. So you've experienced a lot of success, Jo, and it's very inspiring to watch you having curated a life that you love, having a perspective about your life that you love. But like everyone, it wasn't always that way. And we know that there's no magic bullet to success. So what has been the number one piece of advice you would give to your past self, the version of you who existed about a year after starting your business?
That is such a good question. That is one that, I get asked that sometimes, and it changes every time because it is such a fluid moving thing. I think probably the one bit of advice, if I had to pick one, was, very much ties into what you said there. It's to enjoy the journey. It is a journey. There is no destination. You are never going to be there. And I think we all get hung up on just have to get to this point, just have to make this much money, just need this much turnover, just need to hire one more team member, just need to develop that one project, get that over the line, do that. It never ends. And when it ends, then we won't want it to have ended, because these are the good old days at the end of the day. And we're enjoying them. We have to enjoy them because there is nothing else. So yeah, I think if I had to go back to my 21-year-old self who was just starting her first business and say, just enjoy it. Enjoy those late nights. Enjoy that feeling of am I going to manage to do it? And, oh my gosh, how exciting. This new client's chosen me, but can I follow through? Can I deliver what they're looking for? Am I going to have enough money to make rent this month? Am I going, all of it, just enjoy it, because it's going to happen anyway. And you've chosen it.
I love that. Enjoy it because it's going to happen anyway. I adore that, because a lot of the times I feel like we use our unhappiness and anger and frustration as some type of emotional protest. Like the little kid in us is like, if I'm just angry or mad enough about this situation, the big mom in the sky will make it better because they see I'm so upset. And it's like, actually, that is
They're not coming.
how this works.
Yep, nobody's coming. That's another bit of advice. I said that to my mother-in-law the other day. She asked me, what's a bit of advice a similar sort of question. And I said, nobody's coming to save you. And she said, that's so depressing. That's what you'd pick. But it's true, we have to save ourselves. And don't get me wrong. Like, I think if my husband listens to this, he's going to be like, you are constantly coming with your up and downs and the panics and the this. Like, it is not, it doesn't always sound this fun or this fresh or whatever. But when I do sit down and I do reflect on it, and I think that's the important time, when you have those tough love conversations with yourself and you are honest with yourself, and if you tell yourself, this is a choice, this is a journey, just enjoy it because it's going to happen anyway, it really does help. And I will remind myself of this.
I will remind myself of this as well, because when I talked about that little kid saying, I'm mad, so make it better. I am the little kid. So all of this is so true, right? It's interesting too, because I don't believe that anybody is coming to necessarily help you. And that's not necessarily their job. For me, it's you are a spirit having this human experience in order for you to learn and grow and enjoy the journey. I do believe you can ask for help from spirit. I do believe you can ask for help from your own intuition. But is there someone that's most likely going to sit down and hand you a big old bag of money and say, I'm so sorry you're frustrated, let me make this better for you? Probably not. Now, if there's anybody
Probably
that wants
not.
to do that for either Jo or I, you can
We're
reach
here.
out to us directly. Our information's in the show notes.
We are here
We are
for
here
you.
for you. You're right. That's not how this works. But there's a lot of times when I've wished for that too. Like when you get to the end of your road, you're praying, you're negotiating, you're bartering with the universe,
Bargaining.
right? Bargaining with the universe. And it's like, okay, well, I see where this is going, which is you telling me that I need to go and do it. But usually by that, when I'm in that type of conversation, for me, that's a sign that I am burnt out. My willpower is completely gone. I no longer am trying to or feel like I have the ability to move forward on my own. Yes, I've created it. Yes, I've promoted it. Yes, I've allowed it. No, no one's coming to help me, but man, wouldn't it be nice? And truthfully, I just probably need to call my burnout buddy and take a nap.
That's it. Call your burnout buddy, take a nap, tell your team or your clients or whoever you need to tell that you won't be coming in tomorrow because the world is not going to stop turning. I know we feel like it's going to stop turning, but it's not going to stop turning. Very rarely anyway. And just take it, indulge it. And then another thing is if you're going to do that, if you're going to have that day, if you gifted yourself that day, take it. Stay off social
Yes.
media.
Don't take it and
Don't
then lay in
torture
bed on
yourself.
your phone, lay in bed with your phone above your head, looking at Instagram. That you
Looking at
wasted the
Instagram.
day.
And torturing yourself that, oh, the list is just getting longer, and the longer I lie here, the worse it's getting. Take the day. Do whatever you want to do. Eat the ice cream, watch the Netflix, sleep. Do it. I promise you will feel better the next day.
I did the opposite of what you're saying, and I can tell you that it was bad and wrong. I took the day, but this is me. I'm at my mom's house. She got these really nice new couches that are just like it's like insta sleep when you sit on it. So I'm like, I put my feet up, but I had my laptop next to me, and it had this ottoman, so I'm kind of propped up laying, but my laptop is next to me. I actually never opened up my laptop, and I fell asleep and I took a nap. But I was uncomfortable in my sleep and I couldn't turn because I was half asleep and my laptop was right there and I didn't want to knock it off the couch. So yeah, I got the rest, but my brain never really fully turned off because I was like, well, I'm going to rest, but then I'm going to check email later. But so I need to make sure my laptop is here. That's ridiculous. I was being ridiculous.
You were being ridiculous. Very understandable, but ridiculous. It's just that thing, isn't it, Alea, of commit to the one thing you're doing at the moment. Like if you've said you're going to do that one thing, do the one thing.
Yes.
And just whether you enjoy it, whether you hate it, whether it's the one job you have to do today to get something over the line, then you're going to feel, just do the thing. I'm terrible for that. I'm sure you're this, just, I'll do it, but I'll also just scroll through
Right.
Instagram, or I'll also just...
Oh, but I'm going to leave all of the other windows open.
And just check my email every so often. And yeah, these are the mistakes we make. I think if you commit to the one thing you want to do in that moment, give it 15 minutes, give it 30 minutes. Oh, and treats. I'm a big one for treats.
Oh, yeah.
If I do this thing, then I can have a treat.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily a food treat or a buying treat. Like it could be a cuddle with a dog, or, it could be anything.
Yeah, anything.
But just that thing where, okay, I can reward myself now because I've actually done it. That helped me.
Yes. One of our other guests, Tamari Ziegler, said that she uses purses as her treat. Yes. So I think that she has started an expensive treat habit.
That is an expensive treat habit. We call those handbags.
Yes.
Yes. But yes, that's a lovely treat. But yeah, that's setting the bar. That's a dangerous road.
I've realized sometimes for me, the treat is just the peace of mind of it being done.
100%. And I think that is what you realize once you've done it.
Yeah.
That's all you really needed.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't need the handbag.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe you don't need the handbag. I really don't need any more stuff. Really don't need any more stuff. And it's interesting to me that first of all, you're talking about the one thing by Gary Keller, I think gets mentioned on this podcast at least every 2 or 3 episodes. So if you've gotten this far in the Flourishing Entrepreneur podcast and you have not read the book, I don't really know what you're doing out there. But it changed my life. It changed the way that I did my business because it is about focusing on one thing. I was able to accomplish things that I had been trying to do, quote unquote, trying to do for 4 months in a week because I just sat down and did the thing. I blocked off the time and did the thing rather than trying to multitask my way through the thing and then not doing anything at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, great.
But it's
Great
hard,
example.
right? But
Oh,
it's
yeah.
so hard because we've got shiny object syndrome and a new email comes in and the phone rings and all these things. But yes, if you do the thing,
Yes,
you
do
will
the
have done
thing.
the
Turn
thing.
off the notification. When you do the thing, you will have done the thing, and then everything is better with the thing done.
And that's all we really want.
Yes. That is all we really want. Okay, now we've gotten to the part of this interview, my dear Joe, where we have our journal prompt question. Yes, it's very exciting. The journal prompt question is the question that is designed for you, listener out there, to answer on your own in your own journal time. And Joe has graciously volunteered to answer it for you first as a bit of inspiration for your own journaling. So, Joe, are you ready for your journal prompt question?
So ready.
So ready. Okay, wonderful. Here we go. Your journal prompt question is: what perceived challenges could you shift to viewing as adventures?
This is fun. Adventures are a huge part of my life. I love adventure. They were one of my vows that my husband and I, we vowed to always go on adventures. And I think I didn't really know this. I didn't really know that life could be full of adventures. I don't think in the first few years of my adult life I gave myself permission. Again, it was very have to do this, must do that. Whereas when I did meet my husband, he lived in Japan at the time, and I was living in Malta, an island in the Mediterranean. And we started what I don't think I realized was going to be a 5-year long distance relationship. And that's a challenge because it's different time zones and it's really long journeys and it's financially draining and it's difficult. But I think what it did was we took it as a challenge and shifted it to become an opportunity. And before we knew it became an adventure, and it inspired a spirit of adventure in us both. And now we've continued, even though we're now married and we live in the same location. Controversially, we've kept it, and we still travel all the time. We're based in different countries. It's unlocked all sorts of wonderful things in us to be digital nomads, to build international teams, to see no barriers, and just to look at everything with, again, those fresh eyes that mean nothing is really a challenge that you can't overcome if you just see it in a new and exciting way. So yeah, I love the idea of adventure. And to be honest, what an adventure. We get to live these incredible lives, to build businesses, to meet people, to help people. Like, it's an incredible adventure.
I love that you have a very varied perspective because of the way that you've chosen to live your life. And often I feel like people get stuck in viewing everything as difficult and arduous as a challenge because they lack a perspective. And by infusing perspective getting literally into your daily life, the way that you travel around, I wonder, does that help you view life as an adventure and continue to say, like, even when I asked you that question, you're like, this is fun, was the first thing that came out of your mouth. Do you think that the way that you've chosen to live nomadically all over the world has allowed you to maintain that sense of excitement and adventure?
Definitely. I didn't know I was going to choose it. So I think if you asked me even 5 years ago that same question, it probably wouldn't have occurred to me that that option was open to me. I thought these adventures were something that other people had. I thought that I'd chosen a route that meant, I'd bought a house. So now you pay off that house, and now you keep earning. You've got a team member, so now you have to work extra hard to make sure their wage is covered. And this is the way it's been done, so this is the way I'm going to do it. And it probably wouldn't have occurred to me unless life did give me a little nudge in that direction, and kind of open my mind a bit for me. And yeah, it's true, you have to be open to that. I could have said no. But there was something about it that was really exciting. It was very refreshing to have my routine and my life kind of upended and changed. And honestly, if you are open to things, if you say yes to things, amazing things happen. You know that, Alea. Like,
Absolutely.
if you say yes to things, and genuinely want the best to come from that yes, amazing things will happen. If you say yes to something and then, drag your feet and, wonder about why you've done it and worry about all the things that could go wrong, think about all the things that could go right. That is it. Just shift your mindset. And I love that you're saying that. Shift your perspective, shift your mindset. Remember, you've made a choice. If you don't like the choice, change the choice. And yeah, just find the adventures.
I love that. Well, this has been an adventure talking to you and truly was fun, Jo. I've loved it. I love this interview and I love that I feel inspired to go somewhere and do something.
Where are you going to go?
I
Where
don't
should we
know
go?
yet. I mean, the next place I'm going is Tennessee next week, so I don't feel like that counts, but I mean go somewhere to explore.
Amazing. Tennessee would count to me. I've not been there yet. So I'm
Oh!
very jealous. Very jealous.
It is a very cool place. Good food. I've eaten really good food every time I'm in Tennessee.
Well, there you go. A foodie adventure. They don't get better than that.
No, absolutely not. But as people are going on their adventures and if they want to contact you, Jo, how should they go about doing that?
Oh, I'd love to hear from anyone. And my email is jo@byfinessegroup.com. You can find out all about us on there. I'm on Instagram at Jo Caruana. And yeah, get in touch. I'd love to chat. And, let's have some adventures.
Wonderful. Well, I've loved it. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you for inspiring us all to make the choices that lead to our next adventure.
My pleasure, Alea. Always lovely to see you. And again, congrats on this amazing podcast. It's wonderful.
This episode is brought to you by Followers to Dollars Social Media Management by Flourish Marketing. Today is the day you stop stressing about social media. Instead of worrying about what to post, how to get more business from your Instagram account, or keeping up with the never-ending algorithm changes, outsource your social media to Flourish Marketing. Our team of expert copywriters uses the StoryBrand SB7 framework to create highly converting, strategic social media content that will grow your business. Plus, we schedule it for you so you don't have to lift a finger. Not only do we help create white space on your calendar by taking social media off your plate, but we also use data and analytics to get results. One of our clients, Tamari, said, "I've tried several other social media managers in the past, and Flourish Marketing has done the best at delivering real, on-brand, engaging content that my followers are responding to." If you want to join the ranks of our happy clientele, visit www.flourishmarketing.co/social-media and click Schedule a Call today. Did you know that it takes over 20 hours to produce a month's worth of winning content? Think about all the ways you could spend that time. Don't waste another moment. Reclaim your time by heading over to www.flourishmarketing.co/social-media right now.
Hey, buddy. I mean, if we're not burnout buddies yet, you can totally DM me at Flourishing Entrepreneur and we can be burnout buddies because I love that concept of a burnout buddy. How cool is that, right? That person who you know has your back and can remind you that in fact you are on an adventure and it's not just something you're supposed to slog through. I also loved how Jo reminded us that complaining is an energy suck. It drains you of the energy you could be using for more beneficial things. I also really love that she reminded us that everything that happens in our life, we chose. You either chose it, you promoted it, you allowed it to happen. So take responsibility, take accountability for your life and your journey. Just enjoy it because it is happening anyways. You might as well have fun in the process. That's what this is all about. Having fun, enjoying your entrepreneurial journey, your personal journey, your life journey, so that you can flourish in business and life. If you want some more tips and tricks on how to do that, make sure you download our free, say it with me, free recalibration guide at flourishmarketing.co/recalibrate. Not only does it have mantras and journal prompts and tips and tricks, but it also will allow you to be able to shift that mindset from I'm out of alignment, so this all feels like it sucks and it's a challenge and it's hard, to now I know how to get in alignment so that I can view this whole shebang as one big adventure. Thank you for joining us for this episode of The Flourishing Entrepreneur. Again, my name is Alea Harris, and I will see you here next week. Every Wednesday we're here, and I love that you are listening. Sending you lots of love, light, and abundance. All right, bye for now.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Flourishing Entrepreneur Podcast with Alea Harris. Dive into the show notes at www.flourishmarketing.co/podcast and connect with Alea at Flourishing Entrepreneur on Instagram. Vibing with what you hear? Leave a 5-star review to spread the love and be sure to click subscribe. From the entire Flourish Marketing team, we wish you love, light, and abundance. See you next time.